Joe Rothschild Wake Cup. Joe Rothschild Wake Cup. February 5th. Mimighoul deck. Joe Rothschild Wake Cup. In case you're unfamiliar, each month I take a recommendation for a 10-minute testing from the fine fellows over at Patreon. And each month they find new and interesting ways to frustrate me. This time they've demanded I look at Wake Cup, an archetype that at present doesn't do a damn thing. Well, here's your mocha freaking frappuccino, liberals. Presenting Wake Cup. Wake up! Wake up! So here's the list. As always, I'll give you a background about the archetype, a little bit of a discussion about what I hope the deck can do, and of course, the card by card. But first, this video is sponsored by Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. Despite what some Yu-Gi-Tubers who shall not be named would have you believe, the TCG is alive and well. And if you're looking to start your journey into paper, there's no better place to begin than Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck. With up-to-the-minute reporting on every major tournament worldwide, searchable and interactable pie charts and deck lists, and all the bells and whistles you've come to expect from one of the best draft and collection management sites on the net, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck is the place to be. Check it out today at www.ygoprodeck.com. Now back to the video. With that, let's wrestle with Wake Cup. Wake Cup answers an age-old question. What if you could stick your dick in your morning coffee? Not mocha. With each new set for the last several, we've received a new caffeinated slime girl, each of which does something with flip monsters. I guess the joke is you're supposed to be at rest, then you flip up when you get caffeine, but after they kept returning to the well, they realized this couldn't be a cube card pun situation, and these needed something resembling a playstyle. At present, they're a reasonable series of searchers and starters for some flip archetype, a weird glimpse into another world where decks are still extremely excited to play like 12 free agents. Anyway, for our purposes, the only question is, with what should we play them? Well, there is actually a pretty competent flip archetype that got new support in BitBro, Mimighoul. These monsters now have a true one-card combo, courtesy of Maker's applications with Flower, and Wake Cup energizes the strategy by giving it access to a truly unfair endboard piece in Sonic Jammer. That's right, we're stealing Duel Links theory. Hopefully we'll be able to anti-spell out opponents of the game. Realistically, I think people will just get their coffee at Starbucks. So with that, let's get into the card by card. Usually I only read the new ones, but I'm going to be honest with you, I know that you haven't read any of the Wake Cups. First up is Earl. You can send face-up cards your opponent controls to the graveyard up to the number of flip monsters you control. This is the boss of the archetype. If this card is in your hand, you can discard another flip monster, special summon this card in face-up attack position or face-down defense position, and during your end phase, you can target a flip monster in your graveyard, special summon it in face-down defense position. After that is 3 copies of Wake Up Kuro. As a flip, you can target another face-up monster on the field and change it to face-down defense position. It can be revealed in your hand to add a wind flip monster from your deck to your hand except herself, then discard a card. Then, as a quick, you can target a face-down defense position monster on the field, change it to face-up defense position. These are a tight little loop together, and these other two are there as well. Wake Up Mocha, during your end phase, allows you to change it to face-down defense position, and you can target a face-down defense position monster on the field, special summon this card from your hand, and change that monster to attack position. If this card is flipped face-up, you can target a face-up monster on the field and it gains 1,000 attack, but is sent to the graveyard during the end phase. Useful. After that is 2 copies of Wake Cup Machia, which has a flip, targets a face-down defense position on the field and changes it to face-up attack position. And you can reveal this card and flip monster in your hand to special summon both in face-down defense position. And once per turn during your end phase, you can target a face-down card of the field, send it to the graveyard. After that are our Mimighouls. We've got 3 Dragon, 3 Flower, 3 Archfiend, 1 Slime, 1 Fairy, and 1 Master. Thank God Rock is no longer here. Shouts out to Flower. If it's the main phase, you can apply these effects in sequence. Your opponent can add a flip monster or Mimighoul from their deck to their hand. This card goes to your opponent. And during your main phase, you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's field and face-down defense. Or if a face-down monster is on the field, you can special summon this card face-up to your field. It's impressive just how good this card is. It's got like all the right summoning conditions, all the right text on it, all the right necessary prerequisites to be special summoned. Really excellent. Finally, we're on 1 copy of Sonic Jammer, which on flip prevents your opponent from activating spell cards until the end phase of the next turn. Exciting. After that, we've got 3 copies of Maker, 3 copies of Dungeon, 1 Pot of Prosperity, and 1 Room for non-engine. We're on 3 Fuelos, 3 Ash Blossom and Joyspring, and 3 The Fallen and the Virtuous. In the extra, we've got Albion and Ecclesia for the aforementioned card, Zeus and Typhon because this deck is damn good at making it, Full Armored Utopic Ray Lancer, Downard, Double Giant Mimighoul, Ripplebird, Mimighoul Throne, Assembled Nightingale, Underworld Goddess, SP, IP, and Relinquished Anima. On the side, we've got a couple of copies of Lightning Storm, a couple of copies of Droll and Lockbird, 3 Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansion, 3 Perulia, 3 Nibiru the Primal Being, and then Whirlwind Weasel, which prevents your opponent from activating spells or traps, but only for 1 turn. This is against trap decks. And Guard Dog, which prevents your opponent from special summoning for the rest of the turn. What a fun strategy we've put together here today. Let's check out some games. Our first match is up against Lunalight, and boy oh boy, look at all those spell cards that won't be activated. Our hand looks, honestly, pretty dependent on the result of this Pot of Prosperity, so let's find off the top. Oh, thank God. We'll grab that Maker, lickety-split, then activate the effect in order to give our opponent a copy of Flower, and get ourselves a copy of Archfiend. Good hit, good hit. We'll trigger the effect of the Archfiend, flipping up the Flower and activating the Flower's effect in order to get it to our side of the field, and grab ourselves a copy of Mocha in the process. From here, we can activate the effect of the Kuro. We can grab ourselves a Sonic Jammer, set that bad boy, then use Mocha, targeting the Sonic Jammer to flip it face up. Our opponent is now locked from spell cards, so we can overlay for a Throne, trigger the effect of the Throne, and grab ourselves a copy of Master from deck. Master will trigger. We will grab a Dragon, give our opponent the Dragon, and then afterwards we can just start using the effect of Earl to summon herself once we have room by linking off for Masquerena, summoning back the Sonic Jammer at end step. Now, this seems a little superfluous till you realize this deck really doesn't OTK. Our opponent's going to tribute summon a copy of Wolf. We'll just go for SP now, banishing that bad boy, and that forces them to pass because literally every other card in their hand is a spell. We'll flip up the Sonic Jammer so that they can't do it on our turn either, and then another Earl is fine to tribute summon, I suppose. We'll get in for 18 and 27, then we will unfortunately have to pass turn, using the effect of the Earl to reset the Sonic Jammer another time. Boy, I wish we had anything going. Our opponent's going to flip up a Called by the Grave. Now that they can, we'll go Mimighoul Master. Who, I hope you enjoyed your spell activation. We'll trigger Sonic Jammer. They will set a card and pass, and we have to be able to win from here. Well, let's normal summon the Mimighoul Dragon, activate the effect in order to grab a copy of Maker, and then trigger the effect of the Throne to equip to the Mimighoul Master, and bounce that copy of Ash Blossom. 27 and 28. Okay, good. Let's go next. So that's how the deck performs on the play, but what does it do on the draw? Well, for game 2, we're playing against Cool Tune, and we do have a piece of non-engine that we can activate on our opponent's turn, the Ash Blossom. Maybe the Fallen of the Virtuous will do something. This is really the deck we do want to see if we're going second, just because their end board doesn't have a lot on it. It's a lot of points of interaction, but it can be interrupted. Speaking of, we will go ahead and Ash this Synchro Overtake, only to get blindsided by the Cool Tune Synchro. Yuck. They're going to go for Track Maker here, using the effect of Clip to Chain Block, banishing our copy of Throne, and grabbing a JJ Cool Tune. That allows them to normal once again. They'll use it on Q, and just go through this Red Nova, going for Rico instead, grabbing a copy of Mix. They're going to make Remix and then lock us with the top of our deck, banishing that copy of Mimighoul Flower and putting the Mocha on bottom. Afterwards, we're going to grab a Clip and pass turn. This is about the scariest end board this deck can make. We'll go for the Fallen of the Virtuous and draw phase, but of course they do get to fire the Remix. They will get Rico and just go for their negate here. All right, let's go for Pot of Prosperity, picking 6 here. They are going to let it resolve, which is nice, I suppose. We're looking for some very specific stuff, but grabbing a power card is really scary just because they can just negate it. They'll do that right now with Cool Tune RS, banishing the Q to negate the effect of Dungeon. We will Slime in order to summon it to our side of the field, then Flower to our opponent's side of the field. From here, we can overlay for a Typhon. They will clip, and unfortunately, that's probably all she wrote here, going for a copy of Loudness War. They will bounce our copy of Typhon, banish from the extra, forcing us to set a room, and activate the effect of Albion at end step for a Fallen in the Virtuous. Our opponent's going to draw for turn. We have 2 must negates, so they're going to have to do something. Mimighoul Flower triggers here, which gets us a copy of Maker, and then they'll JJ out a Mix. Okay, disastrous. They're going to grab a copy of Q, normal summon the Q, trigger the effect of the Q in order to grab a Cool Tune Rico, then activate the effect of the Rico in order to grab back Clip. They'll go Remix and Mix to pop the Flower, and Rico to pop the Dungeon. They'll RS our copy of Room, so this Fallen of the Virtuous is going to have to do everything, though I think it actually just straight up has no targets. So it's time for game 3, and you know what that means, a best of 3 versus meta. Our opponent's playing what else but Branded Draco Tail, and this hand's fine. I mean, it's got a Maker in it. We're going to begin with a copy of Flower. Our opponent's going to Foolos, which makes Maker a little less good, but what are we not going to go for it? We'll go Maker here. We're going to give our opponent a copy of Dragon. We will grab ourselves an Archfiend to summon it out, activate the effect, and there is an effect failure. Okay, that's disastrous. Well, we can normal summon an Archfiend and at least get sort of far using Giant Mimighoul here for room. We'll set a couple of cards and get 5 minutes for our life savings. They're going to send the entire hand to the yard. Arthalion added all back. Trigger Pan, trigger Malulu. That's going to grab them a Ketu as well as a copy of Flame. They can pop the Giant Mimighoul as well as everything goes back to the grip. Okay, well, this is not looking great. Our opponent's going to begin by activating Rahu. That is going to allow them to fusion summon a Gulamel. They'll go Pan Urgula. We'll go Maker here so that they don't trigger the Gulamel. And then, of course, the Dragon will trigger too, which is kind of cool. Afterwards, our opponent's going to go ahead and activate the... Oh my god, they sent it. They sent it with their own card. I just assumed named it said opponent. All right, that one's on me. My bad. Okay, so we've just got a Mimighoul Archfiend to our name. They're triggering the effect of Frixel after making Secretary on here. We can flip up the Flower, but Flower doesn't really blow up the board. It just gets us a copy of Maker for a next turn that's obviously never coming. Secretarion's going to summon back the Arthalion. Urgula's going to get back the Frix. And then afterwards, it can normal summon the Frix, using its effect with Pawn to summon it, bouncing the Frix, and going to the battle phase. So the Fallen of the Virtuous eating our last remaining monster does do lethal. Let's go next. So it's time for game 2, and dear God, look at that hand. All right, we're going to try. We're going to begin with a copy of Kuro. Kuro is going to grab us a Sonic Jammer. We'll go Maker. They will Ash Blossom, and I don't know. We can Makia here. Makia out the Sonic Jammer and the Makia, and then Earl to summon herself, pitching our last card in hand into a Feimina. Entire hand of the graveyard for Arthalion. Trigger the effect of Arthalion and the effect of Frix in order to grab a Sting. That's going to grab everything back. They'll go Crowley effect because it was added to hand, activating its effect on field in order to make Zorua the Magistus Verthanaga. That gets us Typhon. They'll chain the effect of Zorua, and they'll send our Sonic Jammer as well. Finally, they're going to go for Magnemite, banishing the Frix and Magnemite on field, which means at end step they can use Magnemite to grab Pawn, and we are just so absolutely boned. They'll go Feimina effect and send everything to the yard for Gulamel, triggering the effect of the Gulamel off the Pawn trigger in order to pop this copy of Typhon. 28 on this guy. They'll send our Makia, and I mean just banish the whole yard to frustrate me. Finally, Ketu is going to grab them a copy of Lucius, and Fallen of White Dragon is going to seal the deal. Here summoning a copy of Incredible Ecclesia. They'll go into Ecclesia the Black Dragon. Arthalion summons here, and they'll normal summon a Lucius. This is lethal on board. Maybe they'll overextend and then forget what 8,000 is. I don't know. So we're back with the deck, and, well, what did you expect? Let's do the pros and cons. First, the pros. 1, shockingly, the floodgates are pretty flexible. You can search any wind flip with Kuro, which means you can pivot between Whirlwind Weasel and Sonic Jammer as needed. 2, Mocha is actually quite good. I talked her down in the deck profile, but she is copies 4 through 6 of Mimighoul Archfiend. She can flip summoned Mimighouls to your opponent's field. It's kind of nice. And 3, Kuro specifically is kind of splashable. It searches Reshadal Wendy. You could discard her for effect. I mean, theoretically, you could play this in a Shadow deck. And the cons. 1, the Wake Cup engine can't bridge to Mimighoul. There's no quick effect flips in Wake Cup either, so you're going to need other engines to even trigger the floodgates that this archetype searches. 2, the floodgates are not good. There's a reason that Prediction Princess isn't the best deck in the metagame, and it's because flipping up a guard dog isn't a sustainable or realistic end goal for a strategy. There's so many ways to interrupt it, and there's so many ways to just get some stuff onto the field and pass. And 3, on the topic of Prediction Princess, this is just whack-ass Prediction Princess. Surely if you want to make a deck that just summons back a guard dog at your end phase, you can do better, or at least play cards that are blue. All in all, this deck's bad, but I think my patrons knew that when they requested it. If you want to be part of that action, sign up at the link below. So that's that. Thanks so much for watching. These videos are made possible by, and occasionally suggested by, my patrons, some of whom have handed me a lump sum in order to be mentioned at the end of this video. Those people are Absolutely Fran, Elena Tincher, Allison Elliott, Ally, APK Pearly Tier 0, Brett Henry, Broski TCG, Cap, Cool Name, Damon O'Neill, Dark Rebel XYZ, DJ Elefante, El Gravo, Emiliano Deverio, NB Adams, Fabrizio Petroli, Galactic Joey, Hergalicious, Jackie Z, James Place, JP, Cole Offline, Legal Rights, Lucas Rosas, Luis Hernandez, Master Key 090, Matthew M. Derezo, MBT Hablando en Español, MBT Play Medolce, Mike Carlotti, N54 Lionheart, Nacho, Pombo, Pyramid Artisan Field Cloths, TCG Accessories, Ransom My Thing, Rohan Doge, Rose Lapine, Serpentax, Shifter.mp8, Sly Ninja 43, Troy Says By Erasure is Gay, Who's Nick, Yuki Kazami, and Zircon Sun. Couldn't have done it without you.